friends. The first example we're going to make today of an Alma Thomas reproduction is with torn paper. So this is what I'm going to glue my my papers to, and I have some construction paper, and these aren't the exact colors that are in her painting, but that's okay. You know, whenever we're making a reproduction, we're going for kind of trying to capture the spirit of it. We're not trying to make an exact copy. I mean, we can use that as our guide and try to get as close as we can, but you know, we just kind of are working with what we have. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have this little piece of cardboard that I'm going to use as a circle template, and I'm just going to hold it down, and I am going to use a pencil and trace around it so that I have a circle. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see my circle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as my guide to, I'm going to tear around there. Now you notice I tore just the corner off. It's only because it's a lot easier for me to work with a smaller piece of paper. So what I'm going to do here is I'm tearing it really with little short tears, and I'm trying to get it as close as I can. You know, it's not going to be an exact circle. If I wanted an exact circle, I would use a scissors, but I kind of like how this torn paper looks. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this onto the page, but just for fun, I am going to try to get to the center of this page. This looks about the center, and that might be right, but I'm going to show you how you can get to the center. And that's by taking a ruler and measuring from corner to corner. But you notice this ruler doesn't quite fit. It's a little too short. In this case, I'm just going to use a piece of cardboard that I have lying around my studio. And I am going to get it corner to corner, as close as I can. And I'm going to go like this. I'm just going to make a little line. I know it's a little difficult to see. You see that little line there? Now I'm going to do it from the other corners. And, you know, it's a little tricky. There we go. Oops. And where it crosses, you see, I didn't have to make a line from here to there. I just made a little X right in the center of my page. Now this dot right here is now my center. If I'm really interested in getting to the center of my page, that's where I'm going to go. So now I know that I'm going to glue this on top of there. Use a glue stick. And notice that I put glue almost everywhere. I'm going to try to get that all the way to the edges. This is the right amount of glue. We don't want to just put one little dot, because after a while it's just going to fall off. This way, it's going to stay there forever. Now to get the bands of color that I want all the way around, I need to use the same width of paper, either this way or this way. And I'm going to show you one of two ways that I like to do that. You can you know, like as with anything, you can eyeball this, but I'm going to show you a couple ways that really work for me. I will take, see, I'm holding my ruler like this. This is the first way I do it. I hold down my ruler and I carefully tear. And you see, I'm sliding my hand down as I go. So now with this, if I want to get, you know, have like the little hash marks of color, just like Alma Thomas, I can go like this. And I know that all of that paper is going to be the same width. You know, this might, not everybody is going to like this way of doing it, and that's totally fine. I'm here to show you a couple different options. The other way to do it is I could use my ruler And with a pencil, I could make a line. It's a little difficult to see, but you can see, like, there's my pencil line. And then with my fingers, I'm just going to tear the paper. You don't get as clean of a tear, but I think that that's okay in this instance. So this is one way. This is not my favorite way to do it. One other thing I'm going to show you or tell you is that when you tear paper, there's if you tear it this way, it's really, see how it's kind of jagged? Like that might not be exactly what you want. It's because this is going against the grain of the paper. Usually the long way with paper, if I were to tear it with my fingers, it goes a little bit easier. Look, I don't really even have to put in too much effort. So without a ruler, I got pretty close. So it's, you know, you can either freehand it the way I just did right there. If you do that, I would go the long way with the paper because it'll be an easier tear. You can try to do this way, you know, especially if you, sometimes you want that jagged edge. Sometimes this edge is really exciting. I don't really want this edge for this work. So if I tear it freehand, I'm going to go the long way. So this first way, or with this first line, I just have to put glue on each piece and go around like that. And just kind of keep going. Sometimes, even as I do this, I might, like, I'm noticing already, you see these big gaps? It might be because my pieces are too big. So I'm going to tear down this piece just to see if that's the case. I'm going to hang on to that one. So I have 2 rings of blue, and now I'm going to move on to pink. And you can kind of, I want you to see what I'm doing here. I put this one right here because I'm trying to lay this like a brick pattern. And what I mean by that is, you see how there's this break right here in between these 2 blue pieces? I want to put a pink one right there. Oops. I want to put a pink one right there to sort of, to make it sort of more of an interesting pattern, but also it's what Alma Thomas did. So, and I'm leaving this space blank for a second. I'm going to show you what I do, because, you know, it's really hard to tear these exactly right. But what I can do, here, I'll do it right now. Take a small little piece. I'm going to put it on, put some glue on there. And then I'm going to just kind of extend it just a little bit. See that? It's kind of cool. I'm going to do the same thing right there. If you're like me and you glue something and you see this little spot of glue right there, it's okay. It's gonna, when this glue, if you have purple glue like this, it dries clear. So I don't mind seeing that so much. And I'm just gonna keep on going around like so. I like doing stuff like this where I can sort of just kind of get like lost in the process, where I'm doing it. I'm not really thinking about anything. I'm just sort of meditative. I like that. I like that for me. I like that for you guys too. I think it's good to find art projects that kind of allow you to slow your body down and just kind of sit and think and meditate. All right, I'm moving on to the next layer of color. it does get a little bit easier as you get to like the outer layers. It's kind of nice. And now I'm not so, you know, that first time I was really trying to get, to sort of make that brick pattern. Now it's kind of coming naturally. Like I'm going to put one right here, and sure, that's not like, it's not the best brick pattern, but by the next one, I'm going to get back into it. See, now I'm back to that sort of brick pattern. As I'm putting on the orange layer, I'm noticing that the pieces I have of the construction paper are going beyond the paper. You can see that with my hand. I'm not bothered by that. And so I'm gonna keep on going like that. If it bothers you, and you know, it just comes down to like personal preference, you can do a couple of things. You can first start off with a bigger piece of paper. Or what you can also do, let me just get this down here. You can stick another piece of paper under here, oops, like that, and just keep going. You know, just kind of stick it like that, maybe glue it on the back, and just keep going. I kind of like that look too. It's kind of fun. This is also a really fun thing. If you have really big paper, this is a great thing to do with really big paper. But I just, you know, I don't want anybody to get frustrated. And so if you're finding yourself frustrated, just try adding on some more paper, I think is probably the best thing to do. But this is, you know, this is just such a fun thing to do. And it really, you know, even when I was just down to just the green and the blue, to me, it looked like an Alma Thomas painting. But at this point, it really looks like her work. It really starts to capture some of the magic of her paintings. The painting that I'm using as reference is the painting that was in the dining room in the Obama White House. It's a kind of a cool thing that happens, that presidents get to, they contact, I think it's the National Gallery and maybe the Smithsonian, and they get to borrow pieces of art from the collections to decorate their house with. Can you even imagine? Any painting that's in a, that's at one of those museums. So this is the yellow is my final color. And I'm still, even though like I don't have any paper right here, I like to work this way. So I find it easy, you know, like I've been working in rings. So I'm going to continue that with the yellow. I could fill in all of this and then I could move over here. But I kind of like this feeling. I feel like that's how she would have worked. And so that's how I'm going to continue this. And here is my final project. I kind of like that the paper comes off the edge a little bit. I think that looks kind of cool. If I choose after a while, if I don't think that this is exactly how I want it, I can take a ruler and kind of hold it up against and, you know, kind of tear these off a little bit. But I don't know, you know, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit with this for a little bit and see how I like it. Because sometimes it's kind of fun to see paper go off the edges. I think that looks cool. Now we are going to do another Alma Thomas painting. This time I'm going to try doing the eclipse. And but before I start, I want to talk a little bit about what I'm using. Her paintings, my best guess, are done with brushes that are sort of flat like this. If you have something like this, these are really good. If not, no sweat, because the brush that comes with your kit, something like this, that'll work too. You'll just have to make a couple more strokes. I'm going to use these because these are the brushes that I like to use. I like to use these sort of flat brushes like this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a circle. This painting, the circle isn't right in the middle. If I wanted to get something in the middle, you know, what I do again is I will use a ruler or a straight edge that's long enough to go from here to here. This one isn't that, you know, but I would make a line from corner to corner right here, and then corner to corner right there. And then at where the X is the middle of my page. But I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use this this piece of cardboard, and I'm going to make a circle. Now, if you had something like a compass like this, this is absolutely a great thing to use. I'm not going to use it right now because I kind of like the freehand nature of this. But if you have one, absolutely go ahead to make your lines. So this first one I'm going to do is, I don't exactly know what the colors are on this is a brand new one. So I'm using the lid, and what I want to do is make like a dark blue, not quite black, but I am going to add a little black. Nice thing with watercolor is you can go over it several times. And I think that's what I'm going to do. But what I'm going to do to really ensure a nice vibrant color is I'm going to let this dry first before I put on another layer. So do not worry if it's not as dark as you want it to be, because you can always go back. Now, you know, if I had a compass, I could, you know, just make circles a little bit bigger and bigger. But instead what I'm going to do is, I think I like that color. I am just going to make small strokes. And, you know, we have, if you, making your lines or making these little, you know, bricks of color that she used, these sort of shorter strokes. It's a little, you have a little bit more control when you have a brush versus a piece of paper. It's a little bit easier to achieve the look you want with a brush. So I can make this just a little bit bigger. I'm going to keep on going around. Now I think the next layer, or I think it's just one color. I think this next one is a little bit, it's kind of green, still blue green. Again, when I'm doing something like this, when I'm making a reproduction of a painting, I'm going to try to get as close as I can, but I'm not super concerned if it's not exact. You know, this is sort of what we're doing when we're making a reproduction from a master, is we're learning how they put things together. And, oh, I like that color. Yeah. You know, we're seeing how does a master painter construct a painting? And so that's what we're doing. We're sort of training our eye. So if we don't get it right, that's okay, because the real work of this kind of exercise is to learn from the greats. See how they did it. It's more like a practice. It's like you singing along to your favorite song. You don't have to sound exactly like the person you're singing, but you can kind of gauge your your progress. If let's say you were singing along to your favorite song to become a better singer, just because you know that song really well, it's a good gauge. You can start to, you can really learn something. And that's sort of what making a reproduction is like. You are, you're charting your progress. So let's see. What I also like about these little short strokes is they are kind of like bricks. That's what I don't know what else to call them. That's just my shorthand. And just like with a brick, if you have a brick wall in your house, you'll notice that the bricks sort of overlap each other. It makes the walls of your house stronger, rather than if they were all stacked, one on top of the other. By sort of spreading this out if you're building a house, you spread it out to make it stronger. It's the same in a painting. We're making the structure of how the painting looks stronger. Now, because I have the same color, I'm going to go back to there, and I'm just going to make this area darker because it seemed darker how she did it. And I might go back and do this a couple times. I think that's all right. I might have come in a little too early on this, but that's okay. I'm cleaning off my brush each time. And I'm kind of using, for right now, I'm using kind of the similar palette here. Like I'm a lot of times when I use watercolor, or any kind of paint, I'll kind of mix it with the same color that was down there. I don't really know why, other than I think it's sort of like in cooking, like if you're putting some sort of herb or spice in your chicken, let's say you have some fresh thyme and you're putting some thyme in your chicken. You might also put some thyme in the potatoes that you're going to serve along with it, because it'll complement it in a way. Like that same flavor, you might not know it, on sight, or you might not even know it when you're eating it, but something just kind of feels right. And here is my final reproduction of Alma Thomas's The Eclipse. And I really like it. I found it pretty easy to get myself into a rhythm as I was going around here. I did go back and I made this a little darker, and I also made this ring of dark blue a little bit more pronounced. And that's it. This is, it's nice. I like doing this kind of work because it helps me to think about, just paint application, really. Working with a brush, trying to get what I want in my head down on paper with my hand, with my brush. That's always a fun challenge, at any age in an artist's career. This is, you could do hundreds of these if you wanted to. If you are looking for something to do in your sketchbook or just with colored pencil, what I'm doing right now is I'm making something that I'm going to color in with colored pencil. And so I'm drawing out, this is fairly small, and I'm drawing this out in pencil, and then I'm going to go back in and color it in. So here is my final reproduction done in colored pencil. I really like it. This is something that you can do on just a blank piece of paper. You can also see that I cut it down so that it is a 9 square inch page because it looked like her canvas was a square canvas. So that seemed to be a pretty easy, an easy way to make my paper around the same size. This is also something that could really easily be done in a sketchbook. So if you're looking for something to do in your sketchbook, working on a pattern like this is really nice. It's really meditative. And it just, it's a really good way to kind of slow your body down, let your mind get calm, and, just groove on making some Alma Thomas paintings. So just to recap, here are 3 different ways for you to make an Alma Thomas reproduction. You can try it with collaging some pieces of construction paper. You can do it in colored pencil, or you can do it in watercolor. I think any one of these ways is going to be beneficial for you to learn about the way Alma Thomas made her paintings, but also ways in which you might want to make paintings moving forward.